Welcome to the live stream show. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here today. Today, I'm asking a question. I'm asking you this question. I want to see your answer in the chat. The question is, do you prefer doing pre-recorded video or do you prefer to go live? If you're making videos, if you're marketing yourself with video, if you're going on to social media or you're going on to YouTube and you're making videos, do you rather make a pre-recorded video or do you like live video? And I want to go deep on this. This is our topic for today. We're going to take a deep dive in which one is better. Is it pre-recorded video or is it live video? Pre-recorded or live? I want to know what you think. I want to know what you think. Say so in the comments. And this is how we're going to get started today. So stay tuned. We are going to go deep. I am going to go through 6 different categories of video making and do the pros and cons and show you which one of these two can actually perform the best for you. So stay tuned and let's start the show. Recorded live in Boston, Massachusetts, this is the Livestream Show. In a world full of underexposed entrepreneurs, the Livestream Show is your gateway to a global community of live stream pioneers who dare to go live and create something special and unexpected, which could only happen because it was live. I'm your host, Brad Powell. Let's get on with the show. And we're back. So today we're talking about pre-recorded video making versus live video making. Pre-recorded or live. And again, I want to know which one you prefer, which one you may be doing. If you're planning on doing videos, which one do you think you're going to do? And you know what? I don't need these headphones on because I'm not talking to anybody today. This is a solo episode of the Livestream Show. So where did this all come from? Yesterday, I'm going to start with a little story, a little backstory. Yesterday, I was on LinkedIn. And like I do on LinkedIn, I was chatting in the comments with someone, actually with a whole bunch of people who had been watching a live video. And so we were talking about live videos. And one of the comments interested me. And so I asked this person, are you making live video yet? And she gave me her answer. I'm going to read it to you. So I asked if she was doing any live video, and she says, no, but that's largely because I'm more comfortable pre-recording. And she said, I know you can stream a pre-recorded video live, quote unquote, on LinkedIn, but it feels like more work than just posting. And then she said, I'm open to tips, though, if you can know of a way to make it less cumbersome. And so that sparked me. I said, okay. She said, if you have any tips, I'm sure a whole bunch of people would be appreciative. And I thought, you're right. I'll bet a bunch of people would like to know about this. So today I've got all my notes here. We are going to talk through, I've got 6 different levels, all aspects of streaming and or pre-recorded video. We're going to go through them one at a time, and I'm going to take this deep dive. So stay tuned while we go on this journey together. And if while you're listening, even if you're here on the replay, I want to hear from you. Which do you think? You can start now. Which do you think is better? Pre-recorded or live stream? Which one do you feel more comfortable doing? A pre-recorded video or a live video? And if you've never made a video before, in your mind's eye, which do you think you would be more comfortable doing? Now, I know a lot of people who they think about going live and they go, oh my gosh, I could never do that. Like I wouldn't know what to say. I'd be all flabbergasted. And they really think that doing a pre-recorded video is the way to go for them. And they would feel much more comfortable doing that because Nobody's watching while they're doing it. And of course, if they make any mistakes, you can just throw those away and start again, or you can edit them out, all that kind of stuff. So there are some advantages. There are some advantages to doing pre-recorded video. So this is what we're talking about, and we're going to take a deep dive. Now, the first thing I want to mention, like the reason behind my thinking and the reason behind the preferences that I have, all has to do with leverage. And let me just say that the promise of the internet, and certainly the promise of video, is that it leverages your time. So that instead of talking to people one-on-one, just one-to-one, and then going somewhere else and talking to someone else one-to-one, and then going somewhere else and talking to another person one-to-one, you can do a presentation like I'm doing now, and now I'm talking one to many. And even though this is a live video, and even though, it's going to be here live only for this limited period of time, probably about 20 minutes, after I go live, it will live on as a replay, and it's going to live on my YouTube channel. It's going to live on LinkedIn. It's going to live on Facebook, and people will come and see this video. And so this conversation, this presentation, this information that I'm sharing will be communicated one to many, and it will happen not just in the moment, but it'll happen over a significant period of time in the future. If someone is looking for which is better, pre-recorded or live streaming, they could find my video a year from now. And then they would see me sharing my thoughts on that topic. And hopefully I would be helping them. And hopefully they would come away with something that would be valuable. And that's a beginning of a relationship that I have with that person, even though it's going to be sometime in the future. So this leveraging is really, really important. And then the question is, well, which of these two methods, a pre-recorded video or a live video, gives you more leverage? Because I'm telling you, it is all about leverage. It's all about leveraging your time. And so the system that I have created, the system of and methodology behind the work that I do, which I call big reach broadcasting, it's all about leveraging. It's all about leveraging. And so here we go. Number one. Okay, pre-recorded video versus live video. Pre-recorded video, you have the opportunity to achieve a level of perfection with your video, which means that when you are recording, if you don't like what you just said, or if you don't like any piece of it, you can do it again. You can not use that part that you didn't like, and you can repeat, sort of say your line, say it 5 times, say it 10 times, do multiple takes. This is what they do in the movie industry. They do many takes, even, line by line, a single line, many takes. And then they take the very best one, because they know that that one is the one that will make their movie the very best. And you can do the same thing. The problem with doing that, if you've ever done pre-recorded video, and I've done a lot of them, is that you can drive yourself crazy just reaching for perfection. Just that reach for perfection is just like, oh my gosh, this is taking forever. Like you want to make a 3-minute video, and 2 hours later, you're still working on, your call to action at the end or some other piece of it. And it can get really frustrating. It can take a lot more time than you imagine. So live video, on the other hand, when you go live, you can let go of that idea of perfection. You actually can't be perfect. No one who is watching you go live is expecting you to be perfect. You can up your game in your presentation and your equipment. You can get a good microphone. You can get a good camera. You can get a good setting. Get yourself lit. Both by today, I have beautiful big window, big cloudy day, soft light coming in. I've got my floor lamp behind me, with gentle incandescent bulb lighting the interior of my room here. So these are all things that you can do, but this is not perfect. And no one really wants it to be because it's live. So you can just show up and do your thing, and it's actually more genuine and more real than the polished, perfect version of you, which these days your audience want less and less of that perfect version. They want to see the real you. They want to get to know the real you. So in this realm of going back to leverage, like leveraging your time, leveraging the speed at which you can build trust and intimacy and a genuine relationship with someone, live video actually has several advantages over pre-recorded. It takes less time. The time you go live that's it. There's no second take. There's no multiple anything. You just push the record button. You start talking. You have a conversation with someone. You interact with the audience. And then you hit finish and you're done. And that's it. And that brings me to item number two. Item number two is that there's no editing. On pre-recorded video, the biggest bottleneck in the time it takes to make your video finished is the time it takes to edit the video at the end. So you might want to incorporate B-roll or other footage, or you might want to have, multiple cameras aimed at you, all of this kind of thing, or multiple angles, that kind of stuff. So someone, you or somebody else, needs to sit down with all this footage that you've created and then edit it all together and add music and add other features and do this all kind of stuff. And it takes more time, way more time, to do that editing process than it does to make the video in the first place. Even if you did it all in one take, which you'll never do on a pre-recorded video, or rarely will you do that, you're doing multiple takes, which takes more time, and then you have to edit it all, and that takes more time. So that the time that you're putting into producing the same piece of content that you could do as a live video is often 3, 4, 5 times as much. Whereas going live, there's no need to edit. In fact, you can structure your video presentation, kind of like what I've done with this one. You saw my little video intro, which has a music background. I can bring in titles. I can show you, what we're talking about today is pre-recorded versus live video. And there's my title. And I don't have to edit this. This is all part of the production. And so when you're going live, you've got all these really cool little tricks that allow you to do this. And I will mention, while I'm on this topic of cool little tricks, is that my friends at Restream, I use Restream, and Restream lets me do a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But right now, because in this moment in time, we're just a couple of days before Halloween, they're having a Halloween sale. And I have a special link for you. If you use this link, let me make sure I got it here. This one right here. This restream.io/join/showup. That whole link. Just copy that into your browser. You can sign up for Restream. This link gives you a discount, and you add that on to the sale. They chop 30% off their normal price. You can get started with their standard plan today, and it will only cost you $3. This is a really good deal. Go grab that right now, restream.io/join/showup. And, doing all this stuff, having the titles come in, having the other stuff come out, Restream lets you do this. You have a studio, you go in there and you can add your logo. Let's see if I point to it here. There. You can have your logo. You can have titles. You can have a frame. You can have a video that plays. All these things that add to your stream, add to your production value. You can plug them all in, and the result is time saving. yes, it looks much better, but also when you're done, there's no editing. Like this whole thing is completely finished and you get up and you walk away. So there we go. You can let go of being perfect and you can let go of having to edit. So thing number 3, the criteria number 3 of like, what does video do for you? One of the biggest things that video does for you is engagement. You can get engagement with people with your videos. Now, when you do a pre-recorded video, those videos do get engagement. People will comment. If it's a super cool video that they go, wow, I've never seen anything like this before. I have to show this to all my friends. Your video can get shared. And your video, of course, can get lots and lots of views if it's really good content. However, when you're live, you have the opportunity to bring people on who are with you. Like I can see there's a number here, and there's a number of you who are watching live right now. So let's try this out. If you're here right now, say hello, say where you're watching from, and I'll show you what we can do with you. We'll bring your comment up on the stream. Or if you have a question, ask your question and I can do a little Q&A with you. Or if you're simply getting an insight over anything that I've said so far or anything that I'm saying as time goes on here, put a little aha, hashtag aha, and just say what your insight is. And then I can have a little conversation with you. Any comments that you make, any comments that your audience is making, you can interact and have this conversation in real time. And this is so much deeper and more meaningful than what's happening in a pre-recorded video because you're not there when the person is watching. You have no chance to interact with them in that moment when they're watching. So, you can think of the biggest person that you are crazy for, that you would just love to get on with and have a conversation with. Well, they do a live stream. You can literally get right on there on the stream and you can do all this stuff. You can ask them questions. You can comment on their stuff. You can tell them how much you love them, how much you love their latest song or their latest video or their latest book or whatever it is they've been working on. And you can be in part of that moment. And the other thing that happens on very active live streams is that people comment and they go back and forth with each other. They comment, like, hey, good to see you here. And there can be this whole thing going on in the chat where people are basically interacting with each other. So as the person producing the live stream, you're the host of your own event. And people come not only because they want to be with you, but because they want to be with each other. They want to be with other people who are interested in the same kinds of things. And this is some of the beauty of doing this. So look, we've got folks here. So Kim says, hey there. Hello, Kim. Thank you for saying hello. Great to see you here. And she's over on YouTube. And then on Facebook, we've got Phil. And he's calling in from New Zealand. Phil is... how are things in New Zealand these days? I've got friends in Australia who've been telling me they're totally locked down, but New Zealand is like a different world. So, I've been sort of envious of maybe we should, if we could, it would be really cool to move to New Zealand. So this is just an idea, like, where else can you be? Like I live in Boston. So here in Boston, I can go live and I've got a friend. Phil is actually someone who participated in our Big Reach video program and really cool guy. He lives in Hobbit land. He lives in the place where the Lord of the Rings was filmed. It's just amazing. And of course, he's surrounded by wine country. Like, here in the States, we know of the wine country in California. Well, it's got nothing on the wine country in New Zealand. Talk about just gorgeous place to be. So anyway, that's where he is. And it's really great. It's just great that he can join me now in real time, even though like New Zealand is tomorrow. Here it is. It's Thursday afternoon here in Boston, but in New Zealand, it's Friday morning. So he's tuning in from the future. Oh, look, Leslie's here. Hey, Leslie, great to see you. Thanks for joining. So, yeah, we're talking about, just a little reset here. We're talking about whether or not which one is better, a pre-recorded video or a live video, pre-recorded or live? So which one do you prefer? Now, I've done a lot of pre-recorded video. In fact, my whole beginning of my career, it was all pre-recorded video. It was at a time when live streaming was hardly a thing. It hardly existed. And there are some really cool things about doing pre-recorded video. I mean, you can make some beautiful movie-like projects when you're doing a pre-recorded video. It can be, a work of art. It can be a documentary. It can be a great story that you tell involving lots of characters. All of those things are possible. And the time involved to do all of that is huge. And of course, in the commercial world, like in the commercial video world where I used to work, all of that stuff is really expensive. Like to hire a video crew to come in and do pre-recorded video for you so that you get that production value, it's a costly proposition. You end up working with a whole team of people and a whole set worth of equipment, and it's a big, big deal, and it costs a lot of money. Whereas live, we can go live, and you can go live, just use your phone. Hit record, and off you go. It's so simple. Like everything is just simplified. It's all in the moment. It's much easier and time efficient. Like you are not going to have to do any of that production, any of the pre-production, the post-production. You can let all of that go. So I'm looking at my notes here. Beyond engagement, we have reach. So what am I talking about when I say reach? Well, you look at these two things. If I make a pre-recorded video and I throw it up on YouTube, it's kind of like pulling a lever on one of those one-armed bandits, a slot machine. So I pull the lever and the things spin around and the algorithm either kicks in or it doesn't. And I'm either a winner that a lot of people end up seeing it and it gets caught by the algorithm and a bunch of people watch that video, or not. And there's nothing like, I don't have a lot of control over that. It's totally a gamble. It's totally a risk. And these days on platforms like Facebook and Instagram, when you make a video there, your visibility is being suppressed. It's being repressed by the algorithm. They will only show it to a lot of people if you are willing to pay and turn it into an ad and boost it with a healthy amount of money. And so if you want to get something like, 100,000 views, that's going to cost you some money. It's going to cost you probably $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 in payment to get 10,000 views. And if you want 1 million views, that's going to cost you like $10,000, which is possible. You could do that, but it gets expensive. It gets pretty darn pricey. So when you go live, there are some very big inherent advantages when you are live, not the least of which is all of these algorithms seem to prefer live. They also really like it when there's a lot of banter going on in the chat. If you've got a lot of commenting going on while you're live, the platforms will start showing your video to more and more people. But there are advantages beyond that. Number one is that you can actually bring people onto your live stream. This works really well on Instagram, but it works on all the platforms. So that if you guest, and if you're using what I'm using, which is Restream, you can go live together with your guest, and the two of you can pair your stream. Now, this is powerful. This is really powerful. Pay attention. What happens when you pair your stream? Like, first of all, with Restream, you schedule your stream in advance. You schedule it in advance. And this is what I did with this one. I scheduled it earlier today. I said, hey, I'm going live, which may be why some of you are here. Some of you even heard about it. So it creates a post. It creates one on YouTube, creates one on LinkedIn, creates one on Facebook, announcing that this is going live. Well, my guest, or maybe I have 3 guests, or maybe I have 4 guests, I can pair my stream with them. They can come on, they can go to Restream, and they can pick their destinations and say, okay, I'm going to be on this stream as a guest. They click a link, and then they can say, here, we want to stream this same stream onto all of my channels, my YouTube channel, my LinkedIn channel. So if you go out and you find someone who's got a big following on YouTube, and then you bring them on as a guest, and you get them to pair with you, now when you go live, it's you and them, and you are now broadcasting onto their channel on YouTube, which might have 1 million subscribers. So now your reach is much bigger than what you would have been able to do on your own. This is a huge advantage, and you can't do this with pre-recorded video. It's just not possible. So yeah, that's the thing. Last thing I'll say about reach is that this multicasting, just the fact that you can go live and you can be on multiple places simultaneously at the same time. So, today we've got people here who are here from YouTube, and got people here from LinkedIn. Yes, Leslie says restream. Oh, I have to get rid of this one. Let's get this out of the way. Restream is powerful. Yeah, Leslie has a lot to say about it. She just got hooked up with Restream and did a 5-day live challenge over there. She did it on LinkedIn. She had people come, did it for 5 days, converted some of those people into clients. Very, very powerful, doing live streaming. I saw her very first LinkedIn Live, and that very first LinkedIn Live had over 83 people commenting. 83 comments on that one live stream. The first time. And so this is the thing, like with live streaming, you get this kind of interaction. You get this kind of interaction in real time, in the moment. And, what can I say about it? It's super effective. It's super powerful. And there's just no comparison between this kind of engagement and interaction, which gives you more reach and more visibility than what a pre-recorded video will do for you. Right. So, oh, and Barry is, here's an example of what I was talking about earlier. People are chatting in the chat. Barry's on here. Barry and I were talking on a Zoom call just yesterday. Good to see you, Barry. And now he's chatting with Leslie, and he's inviting her onto his show because Barry has a show. So, this is cool. Like, look what can happen when you're live. This is like the coolest thing. Could you do this on a pre-recorded video? Could you? I don't think so. All right. So now I'm down to my last thing. I think that was number 5 or 4. I'm losing count. The fourth thing I'll say, or the fifth thing, is that live streaming, and we compare these two things, pre-recorded video can get really complicated. Live streaming can be as simple as picking up your phone, opening up the YouTube app, hitting record, and starting to stream. Or Instagram, or YouTube, or I said YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all those platforms. Open up the app on your phone, hit record, and that's it. I'm going to mention something about Instagram because they have just recently opened up a couple of new features. And the thing that I'm really excited about there is that they're really seeming to be all of a sudden changing and making better the way you can do video on Instagram. And the thing that they've done recently that is huge is that now you can schedule your Instagram video in advance. This has never been available before. So even from your desktop, you can go on, you can schedule your stream ahead of time, and all of your people will get notified ahead of time that you are going to go live. And this is like great, huge thing. And then the other thing about Instagram is that when you're live, and you can bring people on. So you can bring them on either as a guest as part of your scheduled thing. And that's great because their people will be notified when it's scheduled that they're going on. But you can also do Q&A, and the people who are watching on Instagram, you can actually bring them on. Right now, this is another new feature. You can have up to 4 people on your stream at the same time on Instagram. So you're doing Q&A with your guest. Someone has a question, you go, okay, come on up. And you bring them up. And of course, when that happens, when they go live with you, when they're brought onto the screen with you, Instagram will notify all of their followers, all of their connections. So let's say you're doing a Q&A for an hour. And every 2 or 3 minutes, you bring on a new person. Well, all during that hour, you're reaching more and more and more. More people are getting notified every time you bring a new person on. So really cool, really, really cool stuff. Right. Yes. So next we have, this is the last thing on our list. Repurposing. So this is where the pre-recorded video world and the live video world come together. They interact and they mesh. And this is where sort of the trick part of all of this, which do you want to do, live or pre-recorded? You can do both. You don't have to do one or the other. When you go live and you do a long form piece of content like I'm doing right this second, when you're done, you can take out short little clips, 1-minute pieces, 90-second pieces, 30-second pieces, 15-second pieces, and you can turn them into shorts, reels, stories, social media clips, and post them all over the place. So that, and again, we're talking leverage here. This is leveraging. So you've gone live for 20 minutes or half an hour or however long that was, and when you're done, you just did that once, and you do that like maybe once every week. So you go live once a week. And all the other days, what happens is you have all these other little clips that go up all over the place. So, tomorrow it's Instagram Reels. Day after that, it's a Facebook story. The day after that, it's a YouTube video. The day after that, it's a LinkedIn video. And all this stuff is pre-recorded and scheduled. And you can have a virtual assistant do all of this for you. Or there are big services that do all this for you for a monthly fee. And they just handle it all. And so the effect is that your work as the talent is that you show up one time a week, you do your show, you do your presentation, you do the thing that you do, you interact with the guest, you interact with your audience, you get this big reach, and then all the other days, you are still showing up in everybody's feed on multiple locations on the internet, all over the place. And you are not doing that. Like, that's happening as a result of the content that you created on that one day. Think about that. Think about the leverage that can do for you. I'm going to take a sip of water while you think. And yeah. Right. Leslie says, I've done that. Big money saver. So, yeah, absolutely. Big money saver, big time saver. Huge, huge advantage. So that was my last one, repurpose. Repurposing is a huge thing. It makes your life so easy. Like, we really want to get off the social media treadmill. And I believe my system, my big reach system, is the way to do that. You get to leverage your live streams so that you have this omnipresent, all over the place visibility, many channels on a daily basis, but you're only showing up and delivering for maybe 20 to 30 minutes per week. That's all you have to do. And so now you can spend the rest of your time on the stuff that you are really here to do, which is your work, is the thing that you're most passionate about. And you can do that work and still be interactive and engaging and building and growing your audience, who are getting to know you, they're getting to like you, they're getting to trust you, and they're starting to seek you out as somebody who they'd like to work with. So that's the end of my content today. Are you going live yet? And biggest question, would you like some help with that? If you do want some help, just DM me or send me a message, find me on LinkedIn or YouTube. You know how to do it. Or you can go to awesomevideomakers.com. That is my platform. And right there, you can schedule a call with me. We can get on together, have a Zoom call, talk, find out what you're doing. And I would love to see your videos. So if you make a video as a result of what I've said today, tag me. Tag me when you make it so that I can see what you're up to. And stay tuned. I'll be going live again next week. Next week, I have a special guest. Can't wait. Can't wait. It's going to be so great. All right. Thanks, you guys, so much for joining. And we'll see you in the future.